Hello lovely people, welcome to a shocking non-bookish related video.
Sophie Vlogs.
I spend most of my time on this channel talking about bookish related things, but I thought it's been ages since I did like a other favourites type video, so that's essentially what this is, just a bunch of stuff which I've been liking recently which I thought I would chop into one video. This video sort of covers like summer and early autumn. I think I might try and do one more regularly, maybe let's do like an autumn winter favourites, we'll see. I'm going to dive in with television related things. One thing I got back into recently is I've been really enjoying Studio Ghibli. I don't know if it's Ghibli or Ghibli, I hear both. I'm going to say Ghibli, we're going to go with it. Essentially, I got Kiki's Delivery Service for my birthday in July and I'd never seen it before, and so I rewatched this, and then I did a podcast episode on my Neighbour Totoro, and then I also bought Howl's Moving Castle again. So these two were a rewatch, this was a first time watch, and just, you know how comforting these films are. Like, it's so soothing to my soul. That's what my podcast episode was about. It was about like Totoro and then also like comfort films in general and like what makes a film comforting, and these films are so comforting. So I've been really enjoying like sort of remembering how much I love that world. Two other TV things that are TV shows. I've been doing a rewatch of Battlestar Galactica because my boyfriend's never seen it before, so we're currently on season 3. And I'm really enjoying watching it with someone else who's never seen it, because obviously I've seen it. I know exactly what's going to happen, but it's so interesting seeing him puzzle out. So Battlestar Galactica, the TV series, is a remake of the 70s TV series, which is essentially like Cylons are these like robots that were created by humans that they like rose up against the humans in the 2004 TV show. Essentially Cylons now, as well as there being like the obvious robot Cylons can also take the form of humans, and so they're able to surprise attack humanity, and then it's all of these. Battlestar Galactica survive because it's a really old spaceship, so it doesn't have all of the like connected things, which is how the Cylons take over. So like essentially it's survivors of this in space trying to escape the Cylons, trying to figure out who the Cylons are, because there's like a certain number of Cylons, of human Cylons that is, and all of the real practicalities that come with that. So like there's a whole episode that's all to do with the fact that like they've nearly run out of water, they're gonna need to find somewhere they can find water. So yeah, what I really like about Battlestar Galactica is partly that side that is so practical, that is about like, okay, well what happens politically when this has happened, what happens practically about how like you are supposed to be able to feed and all of these people, and also like have fuel and all this sort of stuff. And then also there's this thread running through it that is trying to figure out who is a Cylon. You know how many Cylons there are, like if you find out at some point there's a certain number of models, and how do you work out who they are? And it's so interesting seeing how his brain is approaching that subject. It's just very interesting seeing his approach to trying to figure out who Cylons are, and he's sort of trying to logically look at, okay, well, the Cylons we do know about were acting in X, Y, and Z ways, so maybe I'm going to be suspicious of anyone who's acting in a similar way, and that sort of thing. So that's just like really interesting to do a rewatch of that. A show which is sort of having a similar effect on me is, we also started watching Westworld. So, no spoilers please, because I haven't finished season 2 of Westworld yet, but Westworld season 1 was a lot of fun because it had a similar thing. So I have seen the original Westworld film, and then Westworld the TV show is obviously this theme park where like very, very rich people can pay to go, and it's like all of the robots and stuff are programmed so that they can't hurt humans, but you go and you can like do whatever you like. So obviously people go and they like can be very violent, they can be very like sexual assaulty and stuff like this, so like there are some trigger warnings there for things, but like the whole point is that these robots are starting to act outside of their programming, and you know, all of the similar discussions that you have with Battlestar Galactica about responsibility in these things, about like what is sentience, what is personhood. So like there's a character in season 1, I'm going to try and be as vague as possible. They always did a certain action when they were doing this particular thing, and so I was like, ooh, that's interesting, I think they're a robot and they don't know it, and I was right, and I've never felt more validated in my life. So I'm only a couple of episodes into season 2, so I'm hoping that season 2 remains as good, because I've heard mixed things, so like, let's hope. But season 1, cracking, brilliant, loved it. Okay, I'm going to move on to one fashion item that I have, and that is these shoes. These are from Luluhun, which are sold on, for example, the Collective website. These are like super beautiful rainbow shiny mermaid shoes, and I adore them. I got them just in time to go to Manchester Pride, so I did wear them out on the town because I did like a 50s style sort of style thing for the day. Essentially, these are absolutely beautiful. I think they're really gorgeous. They're actually quite comfortable, and I had a lovely time dancing the night away in them. And I got them on eBay for like 15 quid, which was brilliant. On another fantastic experience note, I also, in September, I went to the Warner Brothers studio tour, and I did all the Harry Potter studio tour, which was absolutely incredible. My favourite part of that was sort of seeing, this is so niche, I really loved the bit that shows you all of the, like, design things that had to do, so like specifically like all of the letters, all of the packaging, like the Wizarding Wheezes, that's a tongue twister, all of that packaging, all of the like real like paper creations, like the books and the letters and all that sort of stuff, because like someone made those by hand, and they had like this massive display that was all to do with it, and that was so interesting, like the way that the Weasley's Wizarding Wheezes pieces are sort of very much based on like bright, vibrant 50s style advertising. And then I haven't seen the Crimes of Grindelwald, but they had like a bit that was about the designs for that are very like 1930s, which was really interesting, and I really loved that. And then also, like, I mean, the whole thing was amazing, I'm not going to lie to you, it was brilliant. Seeing how they made all the creatures was very interesting, like the actual, my friend did prosthetic makeups at uni, and all I could think of was her when I was like looking at all of these like molds they did to like create beings. And then also just like the absolute magical bit was like Gringotts was amazing, and then going into Diagon Alley, and then finally like the massive Hogwarts like model that they used for filming. I like was so overwhelmed. They had like the magical music playing, and I was just like, oh my god, everything is amazing. Because I've been rereading Harry Potter to also like prep myself for it, and I've forgotten how much there is in the books that I love, because sometimes I think I get a bit bogged down by the fact that J.K. Rowling comes out with things and I'm like, J.K. be quiet, whereas like reminding myself that actually it was the books that I fell in love with, and then seeing all of this work that went into the films that you don't even, you see it in the finished product, and that's what helps make it feel so real, but you don't get to like see it up close and appreciate it, and so I just absolutely adored that. That was really great. I am wearing my tiny time turner necklace that I bought. I did buy some postcards of the Wheezes series because I really liked that sort of design side of that. And I bought a chocolate frog, and I'm now using the chocolate frog case as like a jewellery case. So this is just, I can't not mention it because it was fantastic and I loved every moment of it. Another activity I've been enjoying recently is making pom-poms. So, for example, here's a pom-pom I made. Essentially, my friend taught us to make pom-poms because my other friend was pregnant, and then I swiftly went out, and I'm keeping it in an old Birchbox box, but I've got my little pom-pom making things, and then this jar is just full of the pom-poms that I have made so far. I have exclusively bought wool in the colour of the pansexual flag and the bisexual flag, so if any of my queer friends like some pan or bi-themed pom-pom things, let me know, because I don't really know what I'm going to do with them. I just keep sitting down, watching Westworld and making pom-poms, and sometimes my pom-poms are lopsided because I'm paying too much attention to Westworld and not enough attention to the actual pom-pom making, but I'm having a really great time. Another activity I'm doing is I'm going to Paris. I might have been to Paris by the time this is posted. I don't know when I'm posting this, but because I'm going to Paris, I've been trying to remind myself of my French. So I've been doing Duolingo with French. I'm not very good. I can read it much better than I can remember it or speak it. But this is my learning French notebook, Peachy Peachy Peach. And then also before all of this, I have on and off been trying to learn Welsh because my boyfriend's family is Welsh. He speaks a bit of Welsh. It would be nice if we could speak Welsh together. Also, just love Wales. So this is my Babe with the Power Welsh notebook, which I love because obviously this is a Labyrinth reference. Heck yes. And then I bought this little pencil case, which sort of reminds me of like, I don't know, like magical girl aesthetic. I've never seen Sailor Moon, but people who like Sailor Moon have a magical girl aesthetic that I love. And this reminds me of that. So it's full of like pastel-y highlightery things because I'm trying to colour code my language learning so that I actually like when I like see it written down, I'm much better at puzzling out what it means than actually speaking it and remembering it. So I'm hoping that like by doing all this, I'm like training my brain to actually retain that information rather than just like panicking every time someone actually talks to me in the language that I'm supposed to be learning, and I'm just like, I don't know what you're saying because you're going really fast and I'm pretty slow. So yes, those are just a few like activities I've been doing recently. I've been really enjoying like doing creative-y things again with my hands. I really want to do like a pottery day or like workshop or something. I might be able to do that soon because my boyfriend is a Quaker, and I think the Young Quakers group might be doing like a pottery day that I'm gonna like come along to if possible. So watch this space. I would love to do some pottery. I just want to do creative things with my hands. I also have some embroidery, but it turns out much harder to do embroidery when you're watching TV because it results in you stabbing yourself more. So pom-pomming, current creative outlet. Some music I've been listening to recently. So Advice are a Welsh language band which I've really been enjoying. When I saw Gweno, who is also so I went to see Gweno a while ago. Gweno's dad, Tim Saunders, was like a leading Cornish language scholar. So Gweno recently released an album that is all in Cornish, but before that all of her albums were in Welsh, so it was really fun to see her live. She had such an amazing stage presence. I wasn't expecting it. I thought she was going to be like a little bit floaty, but actually she was like into it, and I was into it. But she had a support band called Advice, and who are another Welsh language band, and I really enjoyed them, and so I thought, hey, I'm trying to relearn Welsh, so why don't I buy more Welsh language music and then I'll get used to like hearing it. So Advice, I bought that album and I've been really enjoying it. It's sort of like, I'm so bad at categorising music, I think it's like a sort of indie rock sort of thing, I don't know, but I've been heartily enjoying it. It's really great. I would recommend Gartes, I can't remember now, but that's a good track. I'll link it in the description down below. In a completely different tack, also been listening to some more musicals recently, and I bought the Alice by Heart album, which is a musical that is set during World War II, and it's like these two people, and the guy has tuberculosis, so he's like kind of dying. But him and the girl, I think they're romantically involved. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell from just listening to the soundtrack without ever having actually seen the musical for context, but I think they're romantically involved, and they like imagine themselves into Alice in Wonderland world because that's like the books that they used to love when they were children together, and so it's like this mix of like World War II, Alice in Wonderland, and the music itself is just absolutely lovely. If you want to listen to a track for a taster, I would recommend Afternoon. I will also link to that down below in the description. It's just a really lovely, like there's a lot of like cello in the soundtrack, and I love me a cello, and I just think some of the songs are really beautiful, and then there's the ones that's like Brillig Braylig, which are like really interesting musically, I think. So yeah, I've been really enjoying that on a musical note. And then finally, this is not a new band, but I've also been getting back into Temple of the Dog recently. I love Chris Cornell's voice, it's brilliant, so if I need something a bit heavier, I've been listening to that, and I've been listening to Hailstorm again, because I always love Hailstorm. So those are some music things. This next item is sort of outdated by the point that this is going live, but it has saved my life in summer, and that is Polar's sun cream. I mentioned in my birthday video, I've got terrible skin, it's so sensitive. I exploded last year, just all over my skin, it was terrible. One of the reasons was I was allergic to my sun cream. This sun cream, however, not allergic to it. It is a bit pricey, I'm going to mention that now, but if you are also someone who has ridiculously sensitive skin, but also gets sunburnt really easily because of the ridiculously sensitive skin, this genuinely saved my life. And also it smells really nice, and it has like a moisturising element in it, so like it doesn't make me feel all sticky and horrible, which some skincare stuff does. So it's been really great. On a skincare note, because I have now recovered enough from all of my kerfuffle that happened this time last year when my skin exploded, I've been getting back into my skincare routine, so I've been enjoying... So I'm going to mention these things in case you too have the world's most sensitive skin, but all I do at the moment is I cleanse with micellar water, specifically simple micellar water because my skin can handle it. I then cover myself in aroma water, if that's even how you're supposed to pronounce this, which is a toner, which is like lavender, I think it's like rose, yeah, lavender and rose, which are like so soothing, so good for sensitive skin. And then my moisturiser that I'm using at the moment is Vanishing Cream, also by Lush, because again, we've got lavender, we've got lavender, we've got rose, we've got like grapeseed oil, jojoba, witch hazel, shea butter, so it's doing a combination of like, the witch hazel is like calming down any particularly like oily, spotty type things that are happening, but then also like the lavender and the rose are calming my super sensitive skin. So like, this whole combo at the moment is really saving my skincare routine. And then if I have the time / of an evening normally, because like, who wants to put facial oil on their skin before they go out in the morning, because they'll just look oily for the rest of the day. At least that's what happens to me. So if I have time in the evenings, I'm also using Botanic's Daily Facial Oil, which is just rosehip, because rosehip oil is really good for like, again, scarring and helping your skin heal and that sort of thing. And I've got a lot of like scarring. I'm looking at my hands because I did have scarring on my hands, but my hands have healed. So like, these are, I'm just really trying to like nourish, save my face and the rest of my body. Another thing I've been doing to try and help my skin is I've been trying to avoid dairy too much, because I know that dairy can be a real trigger for people with eczema, and I'm like trying it out, seeing how it's going. So I've been really embracing that oat milk life. And also, Whole Earth OT Organic Cocoa Crunch. These are crunchy oat and rice crust clusters with dark chocolate and cocoa. Quite frankly, this is delicious. I would have it for breakfast every day if I could afford it / be able to go to the shop when it's open, because I do weird working hours. This is cracking. I love it. It's really good. It's really yummy. It keeps me full for ages because it's all oaty goodness, and oats are good for your skin, and quite frankly, yum yum yum. The final thing is not something I've been doing because I'm trying to help my skin. It's just delicious. And that is some gin. Specifically, Adnams Orange and Sea Buckthorn Gin. Fresh, zesty and delicious great glass gin. Back in summer I went to Southwold with my boyfriend's family. We do it every year. Adnams, really great brewery there. They have a distillery. This was a limited edition gin. I don't know if it's still available. I'm mentioning it in case it was, because it's a really nice like zesty sort of, I mean orange, but also sea buckthorn has like a sort of zesty, citrusy flavour to it, which is really interesting, and I've just been really enjoying this gin recently. So I thought I would tack it on the end. That's everything. I feel like we've done quite a lot of things, but that's because I haven't done one of these videos in a small lifetime. So these are all the things that have been filling my life with joy recently. Have you used any of these things? Do you have thoughts on any of these things? What has been giving you joy recently? Tell me all this and more in the comments down below. I'm gonna stop talking now because I feel like I've taken up enough of your time, and I will see you next week for something different.